Guys, thanks for checking out this YouTube exclusive video. It's a YouTube exclusive for now. We're going to have this interview tacked on at the end of next week's podcast. So if you see it again, just know that there will be a full show before it and then the interview. But we had one of the best interviews I think we've ever done on the show. It was really fun. Stanley came in, had to go to work, but we had John McAfee. We've been talking about John McAfee on this show for 3 years and how much we love John McAfee and everything he does. We got to talk to him about designer drugs, cryptocurrency, what he thinks about governance. I think we got some very interesting stuff. Honestly, he was pounding shots of tequila throughout the interview. I wanted to because of that. Honestly, just a cool guy. I did not think that was going to be as cool as it was. He didn't even realize Stanley left in the middle of the interview. But all in all, had a great time. I hope you guys enjoy this interview with John McAfee. Thanks for checking it out. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button, like the video, share it with your friends, let everybody know about this. All right, enjoy. I'm your host, Chris from Brooklyn.
And I'm Chris Stanley.
And we're joined by presidential candidate and, crypto wizard, software engineer, John McAfee.
Living legend, John McAfee. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Well, thanks for having me on. By the way, I do like this software. Let me add, I'm sorry to interrupt the program for a commercial announcement, but how long have you been using it?
About a year and a half. We've been in this studio, and vMix is the call-in software we use, and it's all our recording is on it too. That's why we use it. It's optimized with the recording equipment.
The quality is astonishing. So anyway,
especially since we know you're in an undisclosed location currently. You are in international waters right now?
An international what?
Are you in international waters right now?
Where are we talking to you
from? Yeah, where are you right now?
Oh, as if I'm going to tell you. I mean,
perfect. Great answer. I love it.
Just give us a ballpark.
I mean, listen, I might as well tell the New York Times. I mean, this is a fucking podcast, people. So
that's true.
Now, why are you hesitant to tell anyone where you are?
Yeah, we just want to explain for the listeners.
My wife is after me, and she is one mean bitch when she gets angry. So
understandable, understandable, Mr. McAfee.
No, okay. Why am I on the run? I mean, I don't know if that's a serious question or not, but for those that don't know, on the 22nd of January this year, the IRS convened a grand jury to charge my wife, myself, and 4 of our workers with unspecified felony tax-related charges. Now, I haven't paid taxes in almost 10 years, and I'll never pay them again. Income taxes, anyway.
Yeah.
Because according to our Constitution, that's theft. The government can't do that, even though in 1913, we didn't have an income tax prior to 1913. But in 1913, they passed an amendment saying, we need more money. Let's squeeze the people for it. So, because that's what's happening. You work 2 to 3 to 4 months for your fucking government. If that's not squeezing the people, then you tell me what is. So anyway, I haven't, and nothing happened. I mean, I wrote them a letter every year saying I'm not filing a form. I'm not filing taxes. You know where I live. And they never bothered me. And keep in mind, I have paid tens of millions of dollars in taxes in my life. It's not like I have not supported my government. In fact, I'd like to see all the people that should be working for me for the taxes that I paid. No, it's not that. It's that 2 years ago when I started speaking out very strongly against the SEC, the IRS, and telling people that, listen, you don't want to play that game anymore. You don't want to pay taxes, privacy coins, and distributed exchanges. They can't shut the exchange down. They can't ever find out who you are. Now they will say I'm promoting criminal activities. Well, I'm sorry.
Well, that's always the argument against crypto, right? That's always the argument against crypto is that it's promoting criminal activities, but they're crimes that shouldn't be crimes in the first place. Correct?
Well, no. It does. Well, let's get real, please, people. Let's drop all the smoke screens here. Yes, it promotes real criminal activities, of course, but so does every new technology. The telephone, when the telephone came out, it allowed the mob to take control of all crime in the U.S. from coast to coast, from New York to California. When the automobile came out, it was the biggest boon to bank robbers ever. Bank robberies increased by 1,000%. Why? You now had a getaway car. Every fucking technology is going to be picked up by criminals and bad actors. So fucking what? Does that mean we stop advancing humanity because criminals will benefit? Fuck no, we all benefit. You can't stop crime. If you think you can, then you need to stop smoking rainbows, because you can't do it. It is with us. If you look at the human nature, the human fucking animal, we love and we're gracious and generous and kind. We're also vicious and sneaky and jealous and fearful. That's us. And if that's us and you expect to get crime out of society, wake the fuck up. Now, I don't know if you even answered the question. What was the question? Oh, yes. Crime and crypto. Of course, it's going to be used by real fucking criminals. But more importantly, it's going to be used by the government to create criminals.
Well, that's
because
the thing.
Of national security.
It's just a creation.
Yes.
I think it's a creation issue with the crime, right? Like, it's like, so it's, well, we were actually kind of talking about this. I know you've tweeted a few things about your drug combinations that you like. You know what I mean? So we were, but that shouldn't be illegal. That's most of the crime that they're saying is committed with crypto is drug crime. But like, those things should not be illegal in the first place.
Well, I have to agree with you that I don't think they should be illegal. But let's not use that as a rationale, because really there are going to be hard cases of criminals, hitmen, and you name it, that are things which even I would call a crime.
Yeah, that's how they got Dread Pirate Roberts, right?
Pardon?
That's how they got the Dread Pirate Roberts, right? They
Silk Road.
There was the Silk Road guy. They got him on a.
Yes.
He was trying to pay a hitman, or that's what they said. Who knows?
Yes. Yeah, well, that we all know that's total nonsense. We all know that's total nonsense. Technology is feared by governments, financial institutions. Why? Because they are archaic, Stone Age institutions. And up until now, with technology, and by the way, not crypto, but the blockchain and crypto, I guess, is the first technology not to come from a government agency or a large corporation in over 100 years. Doubly scary. The people invented it. Go ahead.
The man who created, or woman who created crypto, do you think he's still alive?
There's no man who created crypto. We all know who created crypto. I mean, there was about a dozen people, including Dr. Adam Back, even Craig Wright. We know who they were. Everybody knows. I mean, it's part of history. I mean, you can just Google it, all right? So it's not one person. Everybody says, well, who's Nakamoto?
Yeah,
who's Satoshi? Fuck me. Well, but Satoshi's just a dude that wrote the white paper. I don't know. They probably drew straws. We know who. No, we know who wrote the white paper. Good God, authoring software will tell you. Let me give you a clue. Even without authoring software, you can figure it out. Okay, every single one of the 12 potential authors of that have written other technical papers. They were all intelligent, educated dudes. You have the white paper, you compare it to every paper that they had. Reading the white paper, here's a couple of anomalies I'll tell you. Every spelling, where the spelling is different between British and American, is spelled in the British way. Every sentence after every sentence, there are two spaces after a period, a serious minority choice in the number of spaces after a period. If you look at all the papers that were written, only two, by the way, only two of the people were British. Or two of these potential 12 were British, and only one double spaces after a fucking period. So rather than going, who's Satoshi, Good God, people spend a few hours and figure it out.
Mm.
However, it still came from the people. None of these people were in the government. None of them were in major corporations. From the people, given to the people. So this is doubly terrifying for governments.
Well, that's
They
why I wanted
can't
to talk to
control
you.
it.
I wanted to talk to you about you.
Go ahead.
You started a new exchange called Dex recently, right? And
Yes.
I wanted to talk about just it's a pure democratization of crypto, right? Are you doing tequila shots, sir?
Well, okay. So here's what I did. Number one, I'm not going to abide by the Securities and Exchange Commission's rules for how I want to behave regarding money that they have no business knowing about.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's number one. So what I did is I built the logic on the blockchain and smart contracts.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all a mass of smart contracts that do all of this work, which allow me, to have absolutely no control.
It is a
I can't
super easy
change
way.
anything.
I used it last night for the
Pardon?
first time. I used it last night for the first time. It's a super easy way to just create an Ethereum address. Currently, you just go right on there. It's
If you have a wallet, you use your, if you have an appropriate wallet, like Trust Wallet or something, use your wallet. You want to add a coin, you can add. We don't charge anything for listing because we have no control over listing.
Mm-hmm.
You want to list a coin, press the button at the top of our screen that says add token. Add the token, give the technical specs, you're now listed.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't charge for listing, we don't know about it. So since it's smart contracts on the blockchain, and by the way, it's just Ethereum now. Tron's coming out next week. Then before the end of the year, we're going to have EOS, Binance, and Neo, and we'll have them all. And then the second quarter of next year, we'll have cross-chain transactions, meaning every token in the world will be able to be traded on our exchange with any other token, completely out of our control.
And
we don't take anybody's money. Pardon?
It's meant to optimize people keeping. It's meant to optimize people keeping their money in crypto and not reverting it back to fiat, right? That's kind of the point of the platform.
That's right. And so we already have a way to do that. We already have DAI, and if any of you have used it, if you haven't, you should. It never varies more than 1% from the US dollar. I don't care what's happening in the crypto market. I don't care what the volume is, that the demand is. DAI never has varied more than 1%, nor can it, because of smart contracts. Now, this is the sort of shit you can do. So we already have DAI. If you're worried about the crypto market, oh my God, I got to get out into DAI. Isn't that better than getting it out into your bank, for fuck's sake, people? Then when you want to get back in, plus you can buy more and more and more with crypto these days, houses and cars and shoes and clothes and pussy. It's all available.
Well, we heard about there's a guy in Russia suing Apple because he got some gay coin in his crypto wallet on his iPhone, and he says it turned him gay.
He got what?
There's a coin called gay coin, which is used to buy gay porn. And there's a guy in Russia that he's suing Apple because he says that the iPhone turned him gay.
You know what? I'll tell you what. There's so much disinformation about crypto, and there's so much ignorance in the general population. And keep in mind, the people who are going to be judging this lawsuit are little old ladies who watch daytime serials, all right?
Yeah, they're watching Dr.
So
Phil.
they're going to get up there. And I promise you, a clever lawyer is going to be able to prove that currency turned him gay, proving in terms of convincing the jury. Seriously, that guy might be brilliant. In fact, if it succeeds, I'm gonna sue. I'm gonna do the same fucking thing.
Yeah, fuck Apple.
Let's all sue. They got money. They got
enough. Now, I wanted to ask you, I know you're a big proponent of like Privacy Coin, Monero, and those kind of coins. I wanted to ask you like what you say the benefit to them is over traditional Bitcoin.
Well, let's look at one. Let's assume you have your Bitcoin wallet published on your Twitter page, or you and I transact business. I can just take that address because I'm bored, I'm old, I got nothing to do, and the TV here sucks. So I'm going, well, let's see how much money's in there. So I can use an Etherscan and any number of programs to go in and say, oh, fuck me, you've got $16,000 in there. That's interesting. Where'd it come from and where is it going to? I can monitor your sorry ass from here on out. Now, if your bank did that, would you be happy? I mean, if a plumber came and fixed your sink, you wrote him a check, he goes to the bank and says, tell me what Mr. McAfee's net worth is in the bank, please. Oh, that's interesting. Would you please advise me every time something goes in or out of his account? And to whom, please? That's what it is with Ethereum, all the ERC20 tokens. Now, that may be fine if you're buying toiletries, or buying yourself a new suit. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But what about my business information, which I would like to keep private, okay? Which everybody would like and has to. That wouldn't be happy. So privacy coins like Monero and Apollo and Zcash and on allow you to be totally fucking anonymous. And nobody can look into your wallet but you. And you don't know who you're doing business with other than you can trust it because it's going through the blockchain that you're going to, you can either have a smart contract intermediary or just trust the guy and say, here's the money, give me my goods. That's up to you. But it's up to you and nobody else. And you are the only knower of the information. And that's the way it should be in my mind. So that's a privacy coin. If you don't use a privacy coin, then be aware that everybody is watching everything in your account, not just the governments, the banks, the feds, the IRS, everybody. So be aware of that, my friends.
Now, I want to ask you something about the current price on crypto. Now, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, you had said if Bitcoin doesn't hit $1 million by 2020, you would eat your own dick. Now, I just wanted to ask you about that. Now,
how would you cook it?
And I stand by that even stronger now. I mean, we're still, 15 months away, and 14 months away from the end of 2020. Run some numbers, people. There's only 21 million Bitcoins ever. 18 million have already been mined. 3 million remain to be mined, but that'll take many years. 7 million have been lost. And for every coin mined, 4 coins are lost. Every coin mined, 4 are lost. Why? People are stupid. You lose your phone and you forgot to write the password down or your keys. Or you wrote your keys down and the dog ate them, or you flushed them down the toilet, or you forgot where you put them, or you left them in the rain, or whatever. People are just losing it. So until that changes, and I don't see it changing anytime soon, you have a supply which is approaching zero and a demand which is going to approach infinity. And I think by the middle of next year, people will catch on to this because it's just simple math fucking medics. And it's going to skyrocket.
Okay, but let's to my co-host question. If you did somehow, if you lose this bet and you had to eat your dick, how would you want it prepared? I'm an award-winning chef, actually.
I understand. Listen. Okay, so listen. As the maker of the bet must always provide, or the nature of the bet. So yes, I also, by the way, have the right to subcontract it. Right. I mean, as long as all right. So
interesting.
I've already arranged with 24 Bangkok prostitutes who are the best fellatio providers on the planet. And they are very slowly, over a period of 10 or 20 years, or however long I live, are going to do the task for me while I work, while I eat, and so on.
Just an inch at a time.
It'll happen.
Okay.
Pardon?
They're going to eat it an inch at a time. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, well, and let's hopefully it'll take many years to do an inch. We'll see. I mean, skin does regenerate itself.
It's true. It's a good point, actually.
I needed to talk to you about you're running for president for the second time, right?
Yes.
Okay, and now the last time you came in second in the primary a few years ago against Gary Johnson, right? Who I'm sure you could beat in a fight.
Third. Pardon?
I said you came in third? I believe it was. I said who I'm sure you could beat in a fight. Somebody out here was saying they wondered. Do you think you could beat Gary Johnson in a fight?
Without a doubt, you can, sir.
Oh, Gary Johnson. You know what? First of all, I didn't want either the nomination or the job.
Okay.
Because first of all, let's get real.
Yeah.
If anybody out there, including you guys, anybody listening now, believes that I could ever be president under any fucking circumstances, then stop smoking rainbows and move out of your mom's basement, because you don't know anything about life. I can't be president. I don't want to be president. I don't want to even win the nomination. I didn't last time. I need to this time. Win the nomination. It's a lot of work after the nomination. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of fucking work. No, I just wanted the national stage, which I got last time. We were on John Stossel's for an hour debating on the national stage, and every state in the nation was debating. Good. I got to get a message out, and I have a more important message this time, the one we've just been talking about, which is freeing yourself from financial slavery, which you are in now, whether you believe it or not, and taking control of your finances and therefore your whole life, because everything rests on finances.
Now, I was actually just kind of curious. Yes.
I mean, otherwise, you know, and in terms of, was the question, could I arm wrestle Gary Johnson?
No, just if you can kick the shit out of him. Like if you.
He's not running this year. He's not running this year. Okay. I think the pickle jar video probably did him in. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, he's got carpal tunnel now.
Yeah, pardon?
He's got carpal tunnel.
No,
now.
It was just what? Oh, carpal tunnel, right? Absolutely. But they had that pickle jar. Someone glued the top on. He had it between his legs, and he kept on working on it. And pretty soon, when you turned the camera around and could not see the pickle jar, it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. So I thought that was very clever.
I want to actually bring it back to the McAfee Dex for real quick. I'm just curious, like, what is the business model to make money? There's no money to post coins to exchange money.
Okay, we charge. Okay, so we charge no listing fees, no maker fees. We only charge 0.25% just on takers. Okay. That barely provides our development and support costs. But this is a gift to the people. This is not about making money, for fuck's sakes. If it was, trust me, we could make a fortune. No, this is about giving up control. And in the process, see, here's what's going to happen. I have violated every single SEC regulations. There's no KYC. I don't give a shit about money laundering. I don't care if you're coming from America, because no one's going to know if you use our onion portal, etc. So, no, I violated all their rules. If they ever do lay hands on me, it's not going to matter, because I can't change it. It is an immutable record. Smart contracts on the blockchain. Good God Almighty.
It's out there already.
Never. It's out there and can't be stopped. And because we have a distributed architecture where we have already 30 different portals coming in, and we hope to have 100 by the end of the year and 1,000 next year, you can't shut us down in any way. If you take the McAfeeDex.com and say it's not yours anymore, I don't give a shit. I'll get another domain and decide it doesn't matter. There are 1,000 others. Track those motherfuckers down and try to get all of their domains. Especially, never mind, I can't mention that. My apologies.
Oh, okay. Now it's all right, but that's gonna be a big spoiler. All right, but what I wanted to ask you about is, this is just a weird aside, but it's you were in Cuba recently. You were running your libertarian presidential campaign from Cuba, which I mean, Twitter kind of had a bit of a field day with. But you were going to build them a crypto.
Yeah, that's right.
You were trying to build them a cryptocurrency, right? Much like Venezuela tried to do it to avoid sanctions. Yeah. And I was wondering now, Venezuela built one, but it didn't really pan out, right? If I recall correctly. Right. Now, how would a government
pan out?
No, obviously not. They're not doing very well. But how would a governmental cryptocurrency how would it end up becoming the national standard for any country? You know what I mean? Let's say Venezuela.
The standard for Cuba? Well, for Cuba, it's a communist dictatorship. Raul Castro just stands up and says it is now the national currency and sits back down.
Yeah, I guess that's
easy enough
for them. Pardon? Okay, but however, yeah, I'd like to explain something. Twitter had a field day. They did. And rather than go into why I was supporting Cuba, let me tell you how Janice and I left Cuba and our staff. Janice and I were called in to some high-level officials. A general came in, sat down, and said, Mr. McAfee, the United States government has requested that you be returned to America. We are not inclined to do so. We would vastly prefer, sir, if you would simply leave the country within 72 hours. That was it.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
so I knew what was happening. The CIA, listen, the CIA's everywhere, and they're whatever. So we
You're
left.
lucky you got out of there with your hearing.
Well, hang on a second. So we got out of there about 50 hours after the edict, and they had people watching us constantly to make sure. In fact, they were knocked on our door the day before, said, "Are you still leaving, Mr. McAfee?" And I said, "Trust me, I will be out of here." So anyway, so we left. We grabbed our weapons because the Cuban government had kept us. Cuba's one of these countries where they don't let you keep your weapons on your yacht. When you leave, they give them back to you. So we picked up our weapons, left the country. And most countries, when you go into them, like the Bahamas or the Dominican Republic, you declare them, they look at them, and they say, keep them on the boat. And that's it. So when we came into the Dominican Republic, we had all of our weapons laid out, ready for inspection by customs. Instead of customs, we never got to see customs or immigration. We were surrounded by the internal security special forces with fully automatic weapons. And then 4 days later, we're out of jail, and they're sending us where? America. Now, I did not come from America, neither did anybody on my team, nothing. So again, I knew what had happened. But in any case, I performed some legal maneuvers because they had broken every law on the books by boarding me without allowing me first to enter the country, and so on. They charged us with illegal weapons possession, which is total garbage. It again, obviously, was a CIA plot. And I found out exactly when they said, "We're sending you back to America." I said, "I didn't come from America. I also have a British passport. Send me back to send it to my home in England." And they refused. So my lawyers filed a brief saying, and the courts accepted it, saying, you may not send Mr. McAfee anywhere until Mr. McAfee has his day in court and can tell his story. Well, if we told a fucking story, Dominican Republic would unravel. This was a CIA setup from stage one. So after we filed that brief, we went from a jail cell with rusted iron bars and no glass and no facilities. They took us to the airport to send us to England, which is all I'd asked for. Put us in VIP, where we're served with people, with men wearing formal attire and wine. And it's like the world changed. And I know this game, and I have played this game before. I knew exactly what was happening. I knew since the Dominican Republic had a separation of powers, I would win this fucker, which we did. Anyway, now, however, I'm seeing how serious they are about returning me to America, and so we're in an undisclosed location.
Well, I understand.
Now, you might ask yourself. Go ahead.
No, well, I was going to say, do you remember a few years ago, Peter Thiel had said he wanted to start his own island off the coast of America where there was no extradition? And I think now you've got America, Belize, Guatemala, the Dominican Republic, and the Bahamas, and Cuba.
And Cuba.
Persona non grata.
All of them I can't go back to.
Maybe it's time for you guys to team up and build this island, is what I'm saying.
Well, I've got my island here. I mean, it's a Faraday cage, okay? There, no signals come in, none go out. We've got an 8-channel signal jam. This is just our communications room, by the way.
Okay.
We don't live here. People go, "Oh, you live in a Faraday cage?" No. We communicate from a Faraday cage. We carry no telephones with us. We carry no electronic gear. I don't even have an electric watch. There's no battery in here. This is mechanical. No electronics on me whatsoever. Now, if I'm in a Faraday cage room and I have some serious VPNs that aren't something that you buy off of Google, right? You're not finding my sorry ass until I'm ready to be found. Meanwhile, I'm doing things like building the McAfee Dex, which if you do grab me, I still can't help you. I can't shut it down, and grabbing me is not going to stop it. I'm just doing what I have to do, talking to you, the truth. taxes are, income taxes anyway, are illegal in America. Stop fucking paying them, people. Do you realize that if you don't file a return, it's not a goddamn crime? Not even a misdemeanor. They merely come and say, you didn't file, we're going to take your horses, cows, and your barn. Mm. That's fine. But no. So that's one thing I'm urging people to do. And they're going to say, I'm urging criminal activity. Fucking bullshit. Wake up, read the Constitution.
Well, there's something I wanted to ask you about philosophically, like as a libertarian. It's a weird thing. I've been thinking about it because I know you started off, you're still a science guy, first and foremost. I've been thinking about like evolutionary biology, right? And trying to convince people that some of these ideals are good ideas. But the human body evolutionarily has been selecting for governance for so long because you're more likely to pass your genes on if you cower. You know what I mean? I've been this is a weird thing where I wonder, how do you really get through to people on things like non-fiat currency, moving away from this sort of, I don't know, like a nanny state situation that we have now. I was just kind of curious your idea.
I'm going to have to take issue with you that cowering is an evolutionarily advantageous attribute. It is not, I promise you. If you look throughout history, what happened to those who cowered? They were slaughtered. Who survived? Kings and princes and clever people and sneaky people who could steal from others what they did not have, and so on. This is the world that we have. If you think we have a world of sheep, then I think you're wrong. And by the way, keep in mind, evolution does not select for servitude. Do you think that the lion is going to go, okay, tell you what, you're an elephant, you could stomp me, you just tell me what to do? No, the lion does his things and roars when the elephant gets too close. And sometimes if there are 5 or 6 lions, might jump the elephant just to show him that, no, we can't bring you down, but we can sure scratch you. No, it does not. Evolution does not, in any species or at any time, select for servitude. I am sorry, not in Mother Nature. And so those who bow down serve. It's like cattle on a fucking ranch compared to the buffalo still living in the wild. You set that cattle free, they will starve. They don't know how to feed themselves, find the food lots, get the warmth. None of this. I'm sorry to be hammering you, my friend.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
It's a very touchy issue for me.
No, I understand that. I was curious of your opinion on it. That's why I asked. So obviously,
I'm sorry. I don't agree with the statement, so I can't answer it.
Oh, that's fair. That's a fair point. All right, whatever. Like I said, we can shift gears. I said my friend Eric he's a huge fan of yours. He's been following you on Twitter. He said I had to ask you what your favorite stack of drugs is. What your favorite combination of drugs is. He said he would not let me live it down if I didn't ask you.
You're now in an area I know something about.
Okay.
So I'd be happy to discuss this. Okay.
I was always an MDMA ketamine guy. I was always an MDMA ketamine mixed guy.
Wait a second. Okay, let me ask this question. People go, what's your favorite drug? I go, for what? I mean, for sex? For contemplation? For going out and driving on the freeway at 150 miles an hour? For contemplating my work, for focus? Just plain fun, for making me talkative? I don't know. You give me a specific set of attributes that you would like after taking these drugs. I'll tell you exactly what drugs to take. So let's assume, for example, you want to have the best sex you've ever fucking had in your life. Well, you trace down some methylene dioxypyrovalerone, MDPV, the strongest of all stimulant drugs, and you will fuck your dick off. I am telling you now. And if the woman is not present, then you will fuck a dog, a sheep, or the tailpipe of a still warm Corvette. It doesn't fucking matter.
And that's MVP, you say?
For sex, That's MDPV. I'm telling you right off the bat. So give me a list of attributes. I'll tell you which drugs to take in which order and how long apart. But that's all I can tell you. I don't have a favorite. I really do not. Although, okay, my wife is looking at me. The one I imbibe most commonly is alcohol, followed by weed, followed by nicotine, and sometimes in different orders. Okay. But these are just drugs to maintain a semblance of humanity while I'm waiting for other drugs.
Okay, that's all fair points. I wanted to ask you about. So we really started on the show. We really started following you when, even more so when the documentary came out on Showtime last year. I don't know if you're comfortable talking about that. No? Okay.
Janice says, listen, hey, here's the reason everybody asks you about that.
Because everyone always asks the same questions, and some people are really rude about it. If you want to know John's opinion about anything about that gossip piece of trash,
well, that's kind of what I was asking. Okay.
I know, but you can look on his YouTube.
Look at my YouTube. I've answered all of this. This is
7 years.
This is almost 7 years old.
Just about our entire relationship. Speaking about. Sorry to interfere, but
no. It's completely understandable. It's kind of how things go. We had Vermin Supreme in here a few weeks ago. He brought it up
5 times in a day. I go finally. Listen, go look it up.
Okay.
So, anyway, next question.
Okay, I was going to ask you to get back to crypto for a second. What is your opinion on asset-based coins as opposed to just straight cryptocurrency?
Well, I think the need for asset-based coins has disappeared with things like DAI. Because what's the point? The asset-based coins are supposed to be in par with an asset like the Japanese yen or gold or what have you. No, I think far more important is not asset-based coins, but safe parity with fiat coins, which DAI does. Now, by the way, no one's paying me at DAI. You can't possibly, what's the word? Promote it. You can't pump it because it's never going to go more than 1% above. It never goes higher than $1.01, never lower than 99 cents. So it's impossible to pump, impossible to play, unless you're a serious fucking day trader, I guess. But no, but coins like that have replaced, I think, the fumbling and frequently misunderstood asset-based coins, because seriously, none of them are truly based on an asset. If they were, they'd have the asset. Do you understand?
I understand. No, well, what I was thinking, it is something that was never used for, but I thought an ICO might work well with an asset-based coin if you wanted to do real estate investment and you wanted to crowdsource real estate investment. But I don't know what your thought on something like that would be.
Here's the problem in connecting the coin to the actual money, the actual thing. It's almost impossible to do. And it brings the attention of the SEC. High alert. Now you're going, dividends. I just think that I don't mess with them.
Okay, I understand. We actually have to give up the studio. We have a hard out in a few minutes. Is there anything else you need to get out there? Just John McAfee 2020, the campaign, Twitter, McAfee Dex. Is there anything I'm missing?
No, I don't think so. The South China Zombie Research Center that I've been working closely with, finally today acknowledged that this has been a great social experiment that they and I.
Well, what is that? I don't know about that project.
Oh, you're joking?
No, I'm not.
No?
I'm not aware. No.
Okay, well, just everybody go to China_zombie.com and you will see. Surely, okay, you missed a big drama, actually. I mean, I wrote a white paper for them. You should read that white paper, by the way, where I said things like, not even under the worst of all conditions, or if a gun were pointed to my head, could I possibly suggest buying this coin? Anyway, the whole thing has been a fun social experiment that we've been operating. So over the next few days, we will be discussing this, and we learned a lot about human nature from this.
Okay.
So that's all.
All right.
Other than that, do not vote for me.
Do not vote for you. That is similar. We had Vermin Supreme on about 3 weeks ago. You know Vermin Supreme? I'm just curious what your opinion on him is.
I love Vermin. Vermin is the only libertarian that I actually can hang with.
So
yes, he said the same thing?
Yeah. He said, don't vote for me. This is all nonsense at the end of our show.
Well, it is all nonsense. The whole thing. Here's what's nonsense is you're in a fucking debate with people wearing suits, and one of them is the ex-governor of New Mexico, and one of them is an ex-senator, and they're up there saying things like, Mr. McAfee, what will you do your first day in office? And finally, on the last debate, I said, please God, do you think any of us on this stage are going to be president? Have you lost your fucking mind? Ask me a real question. Well, that was a mistake. But anyway, Berman is right there with me. I like Berman.
Okay, awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Mr. McAfee.
All right.
I'll get you guys all the information on everything, but thank you so much. It was great talking to you.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Bye.